We all know realtors do not have the best reputation. It falls somewhere between used car salesman and IRS agent. But the fact of the matter is like any profession, you're going to have your professionals and you're going to have your idiots. And unfortunately, I had a horrible experience with an idiot realtor that I will tell you about in this video. But it helped me put together this list of 13 signs that your realtor might be an idiot. Let's go. Hello and welcome to another episode of Living Life in North Idaho. If this is your first time to our channel and you're interested in knowing more about what it's like living, eating, working, playing, and buying real estate here in Idaho, this is the channel for you. Go ahead and tap the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, so every time we come out with a new video, you get notified. And guys, real quick, every single day I have people just like you that have been watching these videos and they're serious about getting moved to Idaho, or they're just needing some information to know if Idaho really is the right place for them before they get moved here. And we absolutely love it. So if this is you, reach out at the phone number, email address listed below. And if you're not quite there yet, if you're like, I don't want to talk to people, you icky realtors, I get it. Go to my website. You can see what the market is doing and get updates sent there. And when you are ready, feel free to reach out to us. All right, let's get back to the video. All right, so let's dive into this video. 13 signs that your realtor might be an idiot. Now, I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm not calling all realtors idiots. I myself am a licensed realtor. And yes, sometimes I can be an idiot, but I try not to be. And the fact is that you're gonna have your professionals, and on the other side of that spectrum, you're gonna have your idiots that just don't belong in the industry. And had I known these signs to look out for, I could have avoided a really bad situation that I was in with a realtor. Now, I did tell you I was gonna tell you that story, so I'm gonna try to keep it short. Basically, I was going to sell the first house I ever bought, hired a realtor, but gave him explicit instructions. I do not want photos to be taken or my house to be listed until I get back from a major vacation. Well, while I was on that vacation, got a notification. That vacation notification, that's funny. But I got a notification saying that my house had been listed and there were photos taken of my house. When I got back, I asked him, what just happened? And he said, well, I was there at your house putting the lockbox on, saw a package, decided I didn't want that to get stolen while you're gone, so I put it in your house. And I figured, I'm already inside, might as well just take the photos. I ended up having to fire that guy, and he was about 30 years my senior. I was young 20-something year old. I had to call his broker, and even after calling his broker and firing him, he still called me and chewed me out, saying he had been a realtor for 17 years and never been fired. So had I known the signs and the questions to ask, I definitely could have avoided that really bad situation. So I hope that this list that I've created for you helps you. Let me know in the comments if it does. So first one, if your realtor does not tell you that there's a big difference between the quality of homes and builders, he's an idiot or he's very self-serving.
You're the idiot.
Like any product out there in the world, you're going to have your top end and you're going to have your bottom end. And it's crazy because you go, this house is several $100,000. Of course it's high quality. That's absolutely not true. Unfortunately, some of the homes, especially ones that were getting built just before the housing crash, they were getting slapped together because people weren't buying them just to live in them. They were buying them as an investment to make money. And so it really didn't matter as long as it looked good. But having bought one of those houses and lived in it as my first house, I can tell you there were a lot of things that were not to code. There was things that I was having to fix, and the quality was just very, very low. A lot of things had to get replaced at first. So good professional realtor will tell you what some of these differences are. There's only so much we can say. We can't disparage builders, but we can tell you what some of the experiences are that we've had. And if they're not telling you that, they're an idiot. You need to go. The second sign to look out for is if your realtor doesn't tell you about some of the hazards in or around the area you're moving to, he might just be an idiot. Now, this just baffles me because some of these issues lead to serious health consequences. And it's crazy because realtors aren't always required to tell people. It just depends on which state you're in. But a good realtor is going to know what to look out for and tell you. Things like being close to a factory farm or an area that they're spraying pesticides because there's farming, contaminants in the water, or radon in the soil, and of course, sitting on a continent-killing geyser. These are issues you should know about, and you should work with somebody who's willing to tell you. Number 3 is one of the most common signs I hear about, unfortunately, but if your realtor keeps quiet about the true cost of major repairs on a home, he's an idiot, and he's also very self-serving. Unfortunately, this happens a lot, where it's usually a new home buyer, they don't have the experience, but they're looking at things and going, hey, how big of a deal is this crack in the foundation? And you go, yeah, that can be fixed. Or what about the roof starting to cave in? Is that going to be expensive? And he goes, yeah, it's not too bad. He might not tell you that it's really cheap, but if he doesn't tell you, actually, you need to look into that because it could be an expensive repair. You might just get hosed. Some of these things you absolutely have to fix if you want to resell the house, and so you can end up being in a bad position. So if your realtor's keeping quiet about that, time to go find a new one. And number 4, unfortunately, happens way too often too. If your realtor is misquoting and making a repair sound a lot less of a big deal than it really is, he is an idiot. Do not fall for that. A good realtor will say, I think it costs about this, but I will get a contractor out here to get a quote for you, or here's a list of contractors for you to contact and ask them. There are stories all of the time of realtors going, oh, landscaping in the backyard, that's like $10,000. The people buy the house with that number in mind, and then it comes out that it's more like $30,000 to $50,000. And that agent can sometimes get sued for saying that, especially if it's in an email and it's in writing. So don't work with realtors that do that. Work with those that are honest. Realtors don't know everything, so sometimes they've got to refer to the professionals in that field. But if they do that, you're working with a good one. Number 5, and this unfortunately happens a lot, but if your realtor doesn't explain the full process of buying a home, he is an idiot. Especially if you're a new home buyer, this should be explained before you even start going and looking at houses, so that way you know what to expect. There is nothing worse than going to purchase a home and not knowing what you're supposed to be doing or knowing what the process is, so you just feel like you're in the dark the entire time. And when you have to start signing things like loan documents, that can be very, very uncomfortable. So just find a realtor that will explain it. And they might not offer it up. If you like the realtor you're working with and they haven't done that, then say, hey, can we sit down and go through the entire process? This will also help them gauge on like, hey, yeah, do you understand the process? Because some realtors don't. So before you go working with an idiot, have that conversation, and you're going to save yourself a very big headache. Now, number 6 is going to surprise a lot of people. If your realtor does not tell you that not every home is a good investment, he is an idiot and a liar. We know that not every house out there is going to gain value, and it might even cost you money if you get it wrong. One thing that happened recently that has a lot of people starting to go, oh, well, no, that's a good investment, is manufactured homes. Manufactured homes historically never gain value. They decrease in value unless it's on land and the land is increasing in value. But during the pandemic and the big housing crunch, we saw prices starting to go up. But no, typically they are not a good investment. And even if it's not manufactured, even it could be a lakefront property, it might not be the best investment depending on what you're wanting to do. So for realtors out there going, yeah, homes are great investments. They're a big asset. Sometimes, if you listen to Robert Kiyosaki, no, they're not. Your primary home is actually a liability because you're not going to be able to sell it and capitalize on the profit until you downsize. So not every home is a good investment, and don't let a realtor tell you it is. All right, this one might make you kind of laugh, but if your realtor is telling you, don't worry about some of the things that are older or if they break because you're going to have a home warranty and it will cover it, he is definitely an idiot. Now, let me ask you a question. When was the last time you bought an extended warranty and had to use it and then go, yeah, man, boy, that was easy, or sure am glad I bought that extended warranty? Yeah, it's very, very rare to happen. It's usually a pain in the butt because it's a contract, and contracts can have all sorts of things that we non-lawyers don't understand. Now, we'll say there are some home warranties that are good. Of course there are, otherwise they wouldn't exist at all. But a lot of them are not good, so I would not go into buying a house with the expectation that home warranty will cover it. And if the realtor is trying to make it sound like it will, run. Now, this one is probably going to make a lot of realtors mad, but you deserve to know. If your realtor does not tell you how to break up with them or that you even can, they are an idiot, and they're also not very professional. The fact is that professional realtors are not afraid of losing their clients because they're going to do a good job and they're going to work really hard. And if that's not enough for their clients, go find somebody else. But yes, you absolutely can break up with your realtor. Now, there are buyer rep agreements that you can sign. Now, before you sign those, you really want to make sure you want to work with that realtor, but even those can be broken. Just means that if you go back and buy that house that realtor showed you, they are due compensation. And if you don't have another realtor, then you're going to be representing yourself, and that's not always the best way to go. Or if you hire another realtor and you go back and buy that house, you're going to owe that realtor the money and you're going to owe your new realtor money. So this should all be explained to you before, unless they're an idiot, and they don't. Now, if your realtor does not tell you just because you're pre-qualified for a loan does not mean you will stay pre-qualified for a loan, they're an idiot. The fact is that getting a loan is a process. And when you get pre-qualified, all they've done is taken a snapshot of where things are at today. And so a lot of people will go, oh, I'm good, I'm pre-qualified. And so they go pay off a credit card, which sounds like a good idea, right? But for some reason, that can sometimes make your credit dip, or they go finance a new vehicle. And then the day before closing, that lender is going to take another snapshot. And if anything's changed, you are probably not going to close on that house. And realtors know that. And so the professionals will make sure that you know that so that you don't make that mistake, because you're not going to get the house and they're not going to get paid. And idiots are going to not know that, or they're not going to tell you. So make sure you work with somebody who definitely tells you that, and keep things the same until you close on that house. Next one is if your realtor does not tell you about the planned development going in around the property you're looking at buying, he's an idiot. Now, we don't know everything that's going to happen, and some things are just not on the books or very difficult to find. But before you get through your inspection period, that definitely should be researched, because there is nothing worse than buying a property because it's nice and quiet and then finding out that a highway is going to be put in the next couple of years. Some realtors will actually try to keep that quiet, unfortunately, and they are not doing their job. They're not following their ethics, but it can happen. So if your realtor doesn't know, the answer should be, I'm going to research that for you, and I will do the best job I can to let you know. If they don't have that answer, time to say goodbye. Number 11, if your realtor does not tell you that the seller of the home can back out of the deal as well, he's an idiot. The fact is that you as a buyer, you have deadlines that you have to meet. There are scheduled deposits that you have to make. And if you do not perform, that seller can go, not you, buddy, I'm going to find another buyer. Now, it all depends on the market you're in, but the last 3 years, that was definitely happening quickly because they had backup offers. In this market, maybe not so much, but a professional realtor will tell you what you're supposed to do. You will have those expectations, and he will make sure that you do it on time. An idiot is not. So make sure that everything has been laid out and that you know exactly what to expect before you even get there, so you can perform and that seller can't back out. Now, if your realtor is an idiot, he's not going to tell you that maybe you should wait to buy. A lot of realtors don't want to have to say this, and I get it. They're not going to get paid unless the transaction goes through. But the fact is, not everybody should be a homeowner. Yes, it can be a really great thing, but it can also be massively burdensome if you don't actually have the money to afford a house. Or maybe your job is a little bit shaky and there's a chance that you lose it and you don't have a savings, so you could lose that house. The majority of the homes that are purchased require a deposit, and pretty sizable deposit as well. And then there's the payments that you make. So the last thing you want to do is put yourself in a position where you could lose the home, because you're not going to be able to recoup a lot of that money. And a realtor should have the character and the ethics to say, yeah, you know what, I don't think that this is the best fit for you. And number 13, if you see these signs in your realtor, decide to ignore them, keep working with that realtor, but then complain to your friends and family about what a terrible experience it was, you might be the idiot.
Whenever I'm about to do something, I think, would an idiot do that? And if they would, I do not do that thing.
The fact is that if you're paying attention, if you actually watched this video, you should be able to look out for some of those signs and be able to have that conversation with your realtor before it gets too far in and decide if you're going to stick with them or not. Don't wait until you're in the middle of the transaction to decide to fire that realtor. Try to find the time to have those conversations. Ask the right questions. The information will come out. And when it does, you'll know, yep, we really like this person. We think they're going to be professional, or nope, not the person that I'm going to go with. The fact is that people usually only buy about 4 to 5 homes in their lifetime. So you definitely want to have the right person to work with. And I'm not trying to use this as a marketing tool for my team. Of course, we strive to be as professional as we possibly can, and I hold my team to a high standard. But this is meant to be for anybody in the country, and each place has their own rules and their own way of doing things, but these should be pretty clear on whether your realtor is a professional or an idiot. Remember, give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and leave a comment telling me if you found this video helpful and which, if any, you found to be pretty funny. And if you are serious about getting moved here, reach out at the phone number or email address listed below. Day, nights, weekends. Tap the subscribe button, and until the next video, guys, I'll see you later.